right, we'll call the Clearlake City Council to order at 6 o'clock at 14050 Olympic Drive, Clearlake, California at 6 p.m. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Claffey?
Here.
Councilmember Creamer?
Here.
Councilmember Overton? Here. Vice Mayor Purdock?
Here.
Mayor Slutin?
Here. First thing is Pledge of Allegiance. Vice Mayor Purdock, you...
Absolutely, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is it time for invocation? Pastor Miller, could you come up and... Right here? Yes, please.
First, I'd like to say that I feel like I'm a little underdressed. I was a little afraid I was going to be overdressed, so here, let us bow in prayer. Father, we give you thanks for a year that has been around our city, Lord. We see new streets. We see new sewage, new water going in. Lord, it's been a year to where we see new businesses that have come and brought employment and a bit of economy to our cities. And so, Lord, we give you thanks for that. We thank you that you have seen us through a prosperous year, a time of good cheer. Lord, we thank you, Father, for this year of the safety that, Lord, you have given to our first responders. Lord, for wrapping your shield about them and keeping them within your refuge. Lord, we thank you and praise you that, Lord, you have given to us dedicated, committed people to bring us great welfare in this time of such distress. So, Lord, we pray this, that, Lord, that you would continue to give wisdom and understanding and knowledge to those who lead and guide and direct. That, Lord, 2022, may it be a year of great prosperity, great peace, great unity. Lord, as we learn to serve you and to serve one another in love and compassion and grace. And Lord, we will be careful to give you praise. For Lord, this is no coincidence that you have called these people here today. And that, Lord, you have a purpose and a reason for each and every one of us. May that purpose be fulfilled for your glory. And again, we give you praise. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next item is a report from our closed session announcements. Mr. Jones?
Yes,
please.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I do have a few things to report from closed session. So the first item was, there was a motion made by Vice Mayor Purdock, seconded by Councilmember Kramer, and the vote was 5-0 to give me authority to sign on behalf of the city related to the national opioid settlements. There will be two documents that I'll sign regarding Janssen Pharmaceuticals settlement. One is a national and one's a state settlement. And then there's also two other additional documents I'll sign on behalf of the three state distributors involved in this litigation. That's McKesson, Cardinal Health, and Amerisource. The second matter was also a motion from Vice Mayor Purdock, seconded by Councilmember Kramer, with a 5-0 vote to initiate litigation against McKinsey and Company in the MDL opioid lawsuit. And then the third and final report out that I have, based on a motion from Councilmember Kramer, seconded by Vice Mayor Purdock with a 5-0 vote, and that was to give direction to the city's risk authority, CIRA, to engage in settlement talks regarding a claim that was filed by Melinda Weimer against the city. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll go to presentations. First is presentation of first adoption of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
No changes, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Overton to approve the agenda, and a second by Vice Mayor Purdock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, now we go to presentations. Presentation of December adoptable dogs is, oh, there she is.
Very tolerant. You need a new dog, right, Lisa? She might be in there too.
Looks like the new mascot for Hope Center.
No.
Good evening, everyone. Come here, Andy. Come here. I'm gonna give him some treats. Come here. That's a good boy, I know. So this is As Is Andy. That's what we call him. He's our probably oldest dog at the shelter. He's about 10. And he's easy. You know, he just needs a little sun patch and a yard, very short walk. You know, this is kind of a lot of activity for him tonight. He's getting neutered on Monday, but he is microchipped and current on his vaccines. He needed a longer appointment because they have to run some tests because he's older. Make sure he can withstand the anesthesia and all that. He tolerates other dogs. He just doesn't like a lot of activity. He's not grumpy, but you know, he just doesn't want to play with young dogs too much. He's kind of set in his ways, you know. He's older. Kind of get off my lawn, I guess. Kind of old guy. Yeah, you know, but he's easy.
I think
just
he's looking at Mr. Jones like he'd
wants
like to
treats.
go.
Yeah, go ahead, here you go. He's ready to go.
There you go. What they say
He's
about old
potty
dogs.
trained, clean. You know, he's just super well behaved. He's, you know, was great in the car over here. Just wants the treats. I know. Hi, Andy. He's got a few teeth left. Little vision impaired, little hearing impaired. You know, he's perfect. So yeah. If anyone's interested in Andy, contact the shelter, 707-273-9440. Or you can call to make an appointment. We're at 6820 Old Highway 53 in Clearlake, Monday through Friday, 12 to 4, and by appointment only.
Thank you, Charmaine.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Charmaine.
How many animals are there and available for adoption?
Many.
Okay.
We have lots of animals going in for spay and neuter, so hopefully the whole shelter should be complete by the end of the year. Everybody's ready to go?
He's about to lift his leg.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. A quick update on the statistics at the animal shelter. January 1st through today, 344 dogs have come into the shelter. 292 have left the shelter. So you can see between our shelter and in Santa Rosa, we have about 60 animals, which is a lot. So of the 292 that have left, 163, or about 56%, have gone to rescues. 102 have been returned to their owners. 20 have been adopted. 6 have been euthanized. And we have that escape on here still. So overall for the year, our live release rate is 97.9%. Gone up a little bit. We've been going up a little bit each month for the past 4 or 5 months. So really good number to be at. Lots of places want to be, you know, close to 90%, but to be up there, that's really good. Doing a lot of work at the shelter and getting animals out to places, mainly rescues and stuff like that, to keep space open for the new ones coming in.
Very good. You obviously have an amazing staff.
One
there,
escape?
so.
Yeah, we had one escape that was in the spring. That was the one it climbed the 6-foot fence inside its pen inside one of the new buildings. And then once it got in the hallway, there was a window that had been left a couple inches open. It pushed that window open and then pushed the screen out, went out the window, then got into the yard and then went into the fence. And then we got it back later.
I was going to
but-
say, you recaptured, or?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Lieutenant.
All right, we'll go now to presentation of the 2021 Living the Life Like Photo Contest winners. Who is going to present that?
I guess that's going to be me. Our city clerk is not here, so maybe we take a quick pause and make sure there were some sound issues.
Is it my computer?
No, it's not. Okay. Hopefully we're back. So we'll just run through. None of our photo contest winners were able to come tonight to receive their check, so we'll get those to them. But I think we had almost 100 entries this year. These couple of slides will show like the top 8. You can see. Just go through these real quick.
I thought I muted it, but you're welcome to.
Keep going.
And then, here's the top 10. There's the last 2 here. We're trying to encourage people this year to have like not just scenic shots, but with a little bit of action in them. So move this out of the way. So this is our number 3 winner. We had, I think, a little over 600 votes for the winners, which is great participation. Number 2, Alexis Stickle.
I like that one. Yep.
Fun one. Would have been better if our promenade lights were installed at that moment, but you know.
Oh, yeah, well, oh, well.
And then the number 1 winner from Devin Wilson.
Wow.
So the number 1 winner will receive $150 cash prize or $200 cash prize. Second will be $150, both sponsored by the city, and then Councilmember Overton is sponsoring the 3rd prize winner with a $100 prize.
Awesome.
And so we'll be getting some of these printed up, and you'll start seeing around some of the facilities. We like to add some new ones and switch them out, but most of the photos you see in here are a result of previous year's photo contests.
This would be just the top 3 or the top 10 that you're gonna be printing?
No, we'll probably do more than just the top 3, yeah.
All right. Awesome pictures. Very good. I think this is going to be an annual thing now,
Yeah,
huh?
I'm very happy with how many people submitted photos. Extremely happy with how many people submitted photos this year. I mean, it was great, and they had we have some great photographers here, and I hope that, this is definitely something I want to make sure continues on every year. It's nice to see the people out taking pictures, and we went for the activities because we wanted some things that we could help market our area, so the activities were really important to promote our city. So I really appreciate everybody that submitted their photos.
Obviously, it's the pride of this, of being in the city, so that's a great thing. All right. Now we'll go to a presentation of an update on the Hope Center. Pastor Shannon and Faith, are you okay?
I do not have share screen power yet. If you want to go to that side, I can still.
Microphone. Mayor Slutin, honorable city council members, thank you so much for inviting us here tonight. My name is Faith Hornby. I'm the executive director of Hope Rising. At Hope Rising, we focus on the lead collaborative agency for Lake County's health status and outcomes. So a few projects that we focus on is homelessness and housing. We focus on substance use and disorders and treatment. We also focus on youth initiatives, as you're familiar with our Smart Start Bright Future program. But tonight, we wanted to specifically talk about our Hope Center, as tonight is our 1-year anniversary. So thank you so much. And I wanted to introduce Pastor Shannon, our manager of Hope Center, and she's going to go into our presentation for our 1 year. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to share the screen because a number of you were at the same presentation this morning, but now at least you'll be able to get to see the pretty pictures that go with it. Maybe. There we go. All right, well, as Faith mentioned, today, December 2nd, is our 1-year anniversary. So we are very excited to have been open for a year, and I am looking forward to telling you a little bit about what we have achieved in this first year. If there are any folks in the room that are not familiar with Hope Center, I also want to give you a good introduction to what we are. Our vision is really a Lake County that is healthier, where generational poverty is reduced and sustainable housing is accessible for all. So the work that we're doing is not just providing emergency shelter beds, but really we are about personal as well as community transformation. We are a 20-bed housing navigation hub. So 5 of those beds are dedicated for women and 15 of those beds are dedicated for men. We're often asked why we have so few beds for women and so many more for men. And the reasons are really multiple, but the short answer is that there's a greater need for beds for men. Homelessness is not only because clients don't have the ability to pay rent or to be in sustainable housing, but more often it is because they have lost their connection to other people. If something happened to any one of us here today, there would probably be somebody that would allow us to move into their homes, even if, at least temporarily. And it takes a lot more for women to lose those connections than it does for men. So that's why we see a higher number of men experiencing homelessness on the streets. It's why we have a higher number of beds for men. We provide at Hope Center wraparound case management, we have housing navigation, we have large, small room meeting space, we have AA meetings, NA meetings. One of our new groups is called Seeking Safety, and that is for people who have dual diagnosis, substance use disorders, and PTSD, and providing a trauma-informed care. We offer space for folks to do their laundry right on site. We offer breakfast and we offer dinner. This says lunch, but it's not true. We offer breakfast and dinner. And we are sometimes asked, well, why don't you provide lunch? And that is because we're a housing navigation hub. We're not a full-time shelter. It is not our intent to provide everything for the clients and everything that they may need. And we want them to be out in the community. We want them to be out looking for work. We want them to be out attending school. Many of our students attend the local community college. We want them to be out finding where those food resources are, so when they move into their sustainable housing, that they're going to be able to have their nutritional food. And the last piece of that is that if you go into a shelter that offers all of your meals, you lose your CalFresh benefits. And we want for our clients to be literally ready when they are housed, not to have to sign up for new benefits, but to retain the access to them. We are operated by Hope Rising, as Faith mentioned, and many of the agencies that make up Hope Rising have in the past done work around homelessness and housing, but it is only in coming together as this collaboration that we are able to achieve what Hope Center has done. So Lake County Social Services, Adventist Health Clearlake, Sutter Lakeside Hospital, Lake Family Resource Center, Lake County Health Services, Lake County Board of Supervisors, Lake County Office of Education, Partnership Health Plan, Lakeview Health Center, Redwood Community Services, North Coast Opportunities, and Lake County Behavioral Health. And I make the point of listing all of those agencies to say how beautiful the collaboration is within our community to support this housing navigation project. We are funded by multiple streams. Part of our sustainability planning is not to be looking to any one agency or partner to provide our funding. We're funded by the Home Key Grant, the City of Clearlake, Lake County Behavioral Health, Adventist Health, Partnership Health Plan, the Continuum of Care, Redwood Credit Union, North Coast Opportunities, Lake Family Resource Center, and many private donations. And those donations range from good folks that like to come and feed us, thank you very much, to the $500,000 that the City of Clearlake provided. So there's a diversity of ways that we have received, and we're appreciative for that support. So who do we serve? Let me move that little Zoom box so you can see this graph. To date, as of today, we have had 67 unique individuals come to Hope Center, 44 men and 23 women. Predominantly, you'll see that adults are the age we serve. That's between the ages of 25 and 55, although 31% of our participants are senior citizens. That's a higher percentage of seniors than we have experiencing homelessness in Lake County, but we do place an emphasis on vulnerability when we're assessing who comes into the program. So we are more likely to take somebody who is a senior citizen if they are ready to work on housing than somebody who is an adult. We also have 6% of our clients in the TAY, or transition age youth range, and that is between the ages of 18 and 24. And typically what we'll see in that TAY population is they have a mental health disorder, schizophrenia for most of them that we have had in, or they have aged out of the foster system. So that's predominantly what that population looks like. Our first 62 clients, and you'll notice that these numbers are changing as I go through that. That's because today is literally our 1-year anniversary, and I didn't rewrite this report today. So I don't have all of the data coming through today. So this particular slide is for the first 62 of the 67, and it's meant to show where is home. So of all of the people that have come into Hope Center, only 5 of the 67, only 5 don't have family in Lake County or don't consider Lake County to be their home. So this is home. This is where they live, and this is the breakout of where they come from around the lake. Now, you would expect to see Clearlake as the higher population because we have a higher population density within the city of Clearlake. But also, I think that we see that higher population than, for example, comparing it to Lakeport, because Lakeport has Elijah House. So in addition to Hope Center opening, we really have done good work in Lake County around creating more services, more shelter beds, and finding that right place for each person to be where they are going to be able to heal. And the thing that I really want to point out here is that of those 62 people, we interviewed each of them and we asked them how long they have lived in Lake County. Now, there are a couple who have lived here their entire lives, born in Kelseyville and living in Hope Center right now. But the majority, the average length of time for all of them collectively is 18 years. And so this is home. And some of the clients have lived in Lake County longer than some of our staff have lived here because this is where they are from. Substance use disorders, mental and behavioral health, and dual diagnosis. This is a significant barrier to housing for many of our participants. This particular slide represents 64 people. 59 of the 64 self-identified as having some kind of substance use disorder. So only 5 people coming into Hope Center since we opened a year ago have said to us that they have no substance use disorder whatsoever. 49 of the 64 have said that they have a significant and pervasive mental health or behavioral health disorder. Of those 49, 17 self-reported that it was a schizophrenic disorder. I point that out because it's very difficult for our clients to live in community. People sometimes think, oh, well, you're giving them this great chance and how easy it must be for them. But the reality is that it is very challenging for them. If they have schizophrenia, as 17 of our participants, for example, they hear all of the voices that are happening in their head, as well as all of the voices of those other 19 people that are experiencing homelessness, and all of them trying to figure it out. So the work that our participants have accomplished and are doing is really inspirational and inspiring for us to see part of. Now, 49 said that they have mental health or behavioral health diagnoses. That means that 15 said that they do not. But of those 15, 6 of them are on medications for mental health or behavioral health. So we know that they have been diagnosed with those disorders. Of the 64, 42 have dual diagnosis, substance use disorder, and mental health disorders. So the barriers that they face and experience as they seek to find sustainable housing are very pervasive, not only taking them off the street, but really that inner work of transformation, finding health and wholeness. So a lot of the energy in our case management is not that we are providing everything for them, but that we are connecting them to the services where they can get that, which goes back to why I wanted to list all of the different agencies that are collaborating with us. On any given day, There will be multiple agencies and service providers that are in and out of Hope Center. As an example, we have a beautiful commercial kitchen that is operated by North Coast Opportunities, NCO. So their chef comes in today. I have to tell you, she made us avocado pudding. Avocado, it was delicious. I mean, it was extraordinarily delicious. Like, a little cocoa powder, and no, it was really good. It was delicious. So we're really grateful to have NCO there and operating our kitchen. On one day a week, Lake County Behavioral Health is present, and they are there. They don't provide those direct services as much as they are there just speaking with the clients so that they can increase facial recognition, so that when they finally get to that point of saying, yes, I'm ready for services, they're actually calling somebody that has been friendly to them and they feel comfortable with. We have other agencies that are there. Catholic Charities comes every other week. And when Catholic Charities comes in, they work with any of the new clients to make certain that they have been signed up for CalFresh, because remember, we don't provide lunch. They make certain that all of our clients are signed up for Partnership Health Plan. So different agencies are really focused on different parts of the intervention. One of the things that has become increasingly important in our grant writing, but also our awareness of how we really move the bar on homelessness, is looking at racial and ethnic equity. So we were one of the first agencies in the county that is serving people experiencing homelessness that actually did a comparison between the Lake County demographic, which is that yellow column that you see in the center, and then the two columns to the right are the people that were interviewed in last year's PIT count, the point-in-time survey of people experiencing street homelessness in Lake County. So, and then the right column is the number of folks that we have served at Hope Center. Now, this particular slide represents our 6-month mark, so it's not 60 clients, but it's 42 clients. But what we want to see as we're looking to see if we are providing racial equity within the work that we're doing is, are those numbers aligned? So when you have a really high number in the center, that means that that's our basic population in Lake County. And if the number just to the left is higher than that number in the center, it means that that population is overrepresented within the homeless population. And then if you look to the numbers on the right, that represents who we are helping and serving at Hope Center. And in general, we want to be somewhere in between those other two numbers, right? So that we're providing equity and that we can show that we are really reaching the population that is experiencing homelessness in Lake County, not just the ones that we kind of put on our blinders and say, these are the people that we think we can help or we should help. So how do they arrive? How do our participants arrive at Hope Center? 43 of our participants came straight to us from experiencing street homelessness. And I point this out in particular because sometimes people say, well, you're a housing navigation hub, you're not really a shelter. It is true that we are a housing navigation hub and not really an emergency shelter, but 43 of our clients came to us off of the streets, which is what a shelter does. So there are aspects of the work that we do that provides emergency shelter. 3 of our patients came to us from a direct discharge, either from a hospital or a skilled nursing facility. 6 of them were living in their cars. 15 came from partner projects. And I particularly want to point out that partner project piece because part of this work is that none of the homeless service provision that we have in Lake County is one size fits all. So a large amount of our work is finding the right intervention for each unique individual. So we sometimes will receive people from our partner projects, and we will sometimes send people to our partner projects. So as you can see here, for example, we've had 9 people come to us from Elijah House. 4 people came to us direct from a substance use disorder residential treatment program. 1 person came to us from Project Restoration, and 1 person from New Digs. How do they leave us? Sometimes they transfer out of our program into a partner program because that partner program is the right intervention for that unique individual. So while we received 9 from Elijah House, we sent 7 back, and that is common. one example of why a person might choose to be at one facility and go to the other or to be transferred. We have one client that came to us from Elijah House because Clearlake was home, and he wanted to be where he considered home. So he came to us from Elijah House. He was at Hope Center one day, and we are quite close to Safeway. And he noticed on that first day his meth dealer in front of Safeway. He immediately came to his case manager at Hope Center and said, I can't do it here. I know that I am not ready to face this. So we sent him back to Hope Center where he didn't, back to Elijah House where he didn't have access to how he knew how to get drugs, because it was important to him to work on his sobriety. So for all of our patients, that is the kind of process that we're looking at in terms of which is a better location for them. Another person that didn't come to us from Elijah House, did not come to us from Elijah House, but why is Hope Center the right place? They have a full-time job at the McDonald's here in Clearlake. So we are more closely able to allow them to get to work. So sometimes they leave to go to a different program. Sometimes they leave because they need a higher level of care than what we are able to provide. So we've had 8 people that left from Hope Center still street homeless. We weren't able to connect them to another project. We weren't able to serve them. We weren't able to get them to where they needed to be. And while that is discouraging, some of them have returned to us. So when somebody leaves Hope Center, it's not a one and done. It's not you left and it didn't work this time. We leave the door open for when you're ready to try this again, come back and we will work with you. 13 chose to return to a previous situation. So that means maybe they wanted to go back to living in their car. They wanted to go live in a different community. They wanted to go live with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, but we pulled them out, those 13, because they didn't go to that housing in a safe or secure way. And when we look at what interventions are working, we really want to be able to identify where our participants are falling in that process. So of the 67 that are represented on this particular slide, 30 of them have been housed. Now, when I say 30 of them have been housed, what I really mean is 21 is the new 30. So I'll explain what I mean by that. 17 people completed the housing navigation process at Hope Center. So that means they worked with their case manager, they worked with their housing navigator. We assessed the place that they were moving into. We made certain that they had a year lease. In many of the cases, we were able to provide first and last month rent, a security deposit. We have an interaction with a landlord. Of those, actually, one of them moved out in between my finishing this report. So really, 16 of them are already moved into their housing, and we have one that is moving out. I thought he was moving out yesterday, but he's actually moving out on Tuesday. So 17 that have truly completed that process. And then we have 8 who wanted to travel outside of the county. So it is not ethical to just give people a bus ticket because they're experiencing homelessness. Here's a ticket, go to another county, as much as people often want to do that. When we provide transportation out of county for a participant, it's because we have done all of the work I just described. We've made certain that they have a lease, they have a place that they're going, they have a support person in the location that we're buying them a ticket for. And even with all that background work, sometimes it doesn't work. Of the 8 that we gave transportation vouchers to leave the county, 4 of them are today unhoused. 3 of them came back to Lake County, and one of them is being housed by Lake County with the hospitality of the Sheriff's Department. So sometimes it, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. 5 of our participants moved into housing outside of our housing navigation process. So that is, they came into Hope Center, they did case management with us, we connected them to the services that they need, and they said, you know what, I can do this on my own. I really don't need your help to find housing. They found their own housing. Of those 5, 4 of them, to our knowledge, were not sustained. So when I say 21 is the new 30, What I mean is that truly 21 of them have been housed in a way that is sustainable and healthy for them and healthy for our community. Our goal in the first year, which is today, our goal in the first year was to sustainably house 20 people. And we stand before you truly delighted to know that we have accomplished that. The photo that you see of the tree to the right of the screen, each of those kind of leaves that you see hanging off, that is a key and a name. And each of those keys represents somebody that has completed the housing navigation process and has moved from Hope Center into their housing. And when they leave Hope Center, we pass that key around the room, and everyone is able to give them a blessing or a word of encouragement. To say, this is how you have made a difference for us, or this is how we hope that you will be blessed in your new life. As of today, there are 19 people at Hope Center. Our census is 20, but there are only 19 because one of our participants was hit by a car last week, and she is presently in the hospital. And we're wrestling with that. What do you do? How long do you hold a bed? How long do you say the right thing for this person is for us to say, we're here when you get out of the hospital, or you need to start the process over. So that's how they arrive, that's how they leave. But the thing that is true for all of them and for all of us is that transformation is a journey. And this work that we have been privileged to do at Hope Center has been a journey. And the slides, the images that you see before you, that is the next installment of public art that you will soon see in Clearlake, because that will be on the side of Hope Center. And I know I take up a lot of time, so I probably can't tell you the story about why it's a dragonfly, but half of you were at the presentation this morning, so you can share that news with others later. Do you want me to stay for questions, or is that good?
Sure, everybody have questions?
Between this morning and now, you've answered all mine. I was just waiting for the dragonfly story, though.
Councilman Claffey has a,
Yeah, I just had one question. So you said you have 60 or so clients have gone through the system. How many total applicants have you had over the last year?
So we've had 10 applicants, which we said no to. They applied and we said no. And then I have not done, honestly, all of the collection about people who come in and we say we don't have a bed, or people who come in and then they come back later. But the number that we have said no to straight off is right around 10.
Vice
I
Mayor
do have a
Purdo.
question. Go ahead.
Thanks. Pastor Shannon, if you wouldn't mind sharing, how did the neighbors receive us? There's always, concern about a project like this landing in your neighborhood, and if you could share that, I think that'd be helpful.
Yeah, again, transformation is a journey, and it has been very interesting. When we first started the construction on Hope Center, which was a lot longer than a year ago, we had folks that came to Hope Center concerned. Hey, we heard that there's going to be a homeless shelter here. And we said, no, it's not going to be a homeless shelter. It's going to be a housing navigation hub. Let me tell you the story of the work that we're going to engage in. And their response at that point was, great, can we have a grand opening and be part of it? So they got on board quite quickly. That is not to say that there have not been any challenges. Sometimes we have had clients that have been out smoking after hours, what we consider our curfew hours, and we have had neighbors say, please ask them to be quiet, which we were able to immediately respond to, okay? The new rule is you can't be in the smoking section after hours unless you're there alone. So it's just you and the voices in your head, not you and all the other clients talking to each other. So we want to really be able to honor that. One client, one of our neighbors, was sad because we built the fence along the Hope Center property only along our property line, but their property was mixed, right? Their property line exceeded ours, and so they asked us, could we please build the rest of the fence, and we were able to do that. We have one neighbor who is concerned about trash in the neighborhood, so we have participants at Hope Center that now do a neighborhood trash pickup once a week. That's led by our site coordinator, Teresa. So overall, there have been a couple of hiccups, but I think we're in a good place.
Thank you.
The question I had on the table, you mentioned one client went to Restoration House. Is Restoration House is connected with, also with Hope Rising, or how is that connected? with-
So, sort of.
Or is it still operating?
A restoration house is still operating. For those that do not know, Project Restoration is a 10-bed facility that is operated by Adventist Health Clearlake. And Project Restoration and Hope Center are connected in as much as I am an employee of Adventist Health and they loan me to Hope Center half-time, so that there is a continuity between homeless service provision, but also so that everything that we have learned from 5 years of operating Project Restoration, we can put into the practices that we are engaged at Hope Center. And Adventist Health is the backbone agency for Hope Rising, but it is Hope Rising which operates Hope Center.
So Restoration House is being operated still.
So Restoration House this evening has 10 beds, 9 of them are filled.
A very similar program or
The core difference is that for Project Restoration, we take in patients who have a complex health diagnoses, which can improve with recuperative respite care. So they don't necessarily have to want to work on their housing when they first come to Project Restoration, but at Hope Center, in order to get in, they have to say, yes, I want to work on sustainable housing. Because at Project Restoration, the focus is more on getting them
Getting them
health
better.
stable, whereas at Hope Center, the focus is on getting them housing stable.
Thank you, Pastor Shannon. That was
Yeah.
a good explanation.
More comments? I have just one comment. Awesome job. I mean, we looked at it 3 years ago. I think we started looking at it, and it took a little while to get
It took a little
built.
while.
But it's, you know, if I
That's
think
fair.
about it, 21 people are not homeless anymore.
Yeah.
I think that's a great success.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to the, and thanks again.
Can I could,
A do-over?
Chief White had mentioned that the audio was off when I gave my report out of public, or closed session. If you don't mind, I'm gonna redo it just for the folks out there in virtual land. So there were 3 items that I reported out of closed session. There was a motion from Vice Mayor Purdock, seconded by Councilmember Kramer, with a 5-0 vote. And that was to give me authority to approve to engage the city in a national settlement related to the opioid litigation. 2 of them, there'd be with the Janssen Pharmaceuticals Company, and the other one related to the 3 state distributors. The second item was also a motion by Vice Mayor Purdock with a second from Councilmember Kramer with a 5-0 vote to initiate litigation against McKinsey and Company in the MDL opioid lawsuit. And finally, with a motion from Councilmember Kramer, seconded by Vice Mayor Purdock, with a 5-0 vote to give direction to our risk authority, CIRA, and that was to negotiate a settlement with Miss Melinda Weimer regarding her claim against the city. So, sorry for hearing that twice, but I wanted to do it correctly. Thanks.
You're allowed to do over. All right, we'll go to the consent agenda. Anybody from the council wants to pull any of the items on the
Yes,
consent?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item 11.
Item 1,
11.
okay. Item 11 will be pulled and dealt with separately. Anybody else? Any opens for the public? Anyone from the public wants to pull an item? Madam Clerk, is there anybody on Zoom that wants to pull one of these items?
No one has their hand raised, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda
Yes, Mr.
with the
Mayor, I'd like-
exception of item number 11?
I'd like to make the motion that we accept a consent calendar with a subtraction of number 11.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Overton and a second by Councilman Kramer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, now we'll discuss item 11. Can we have a report from the city manager on this one? Oh,
I've just asked Councilmember Kramer what the question is on the item.
Well, I quite honestly, after reviewing especially the local equity plan program manual, I became very concerned that it's basically to be eligible for this grant, you have to have one of 3 things. You have to be low income, which is okay, I guess. You have to be convicted of cannabis-related crime, or you have to have a family member that's been convicted for a cannabis-related crime. I'm not too sure that that's something that this city wants to be supporting.
Do we have any other comments on this item from council? If not, Council, Vice Mayor Purdo.
No, I just wanted to hear more about this from staff and allow the public to make comment.
All right. Mr. Flora, you have any?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't really know what to add. You have the program plan before you. You know, this is a program that's funded through the state, and the council accepted the funding for this, I don't know, probably a year ago, to put this plan together in order to create this program. Over the last number of months, we hired with the grant funding Humboldt State University to put this plan together. That plan is before you, and if the council adopts the plan, then we'd be eligible for additional funding through the state in order to make various grants to cannabis businesses.
All right, thank you. Any additional comments from staff, from the council here? If
Mr.
not-
Mayor, I just have one thing to add. In talking with others who are more educated when it comes to this grant, I understand the concern about having, who has been in trouble for, misdemeanor actions or, the marijuana legal actions. They're not like murderers or anything. It's just, when marijuana was not allowed over an ounce, it's those kind of things, providing their background. They have not been in trouble since then. It's what's considered a misdemeanor or something like those lines, and this program is to rehabilitate them into a business sense, not something that's illegal.
Well, let me just read the conviction history part of it. Any individual seeking support of services to aid in entering the cannabis industry in the city of Clearlake who was arrested and/or convicted of the sale, possession, use, manufacture, or cultivation of cannabis, including a juvenile, or has been subject to an asset forfeiture between 1996 and 2016. The family conviction thing is kind of a similar thing. Any individual seeking support or services to aid in entering the cannabis industry in the city of Clearlake with a parent, sibling, or child who was arrested for or convicted of the sale, possession, use, manufacture, or cultivation of cannabis, including a juvenile. Nowhere in there does it specify that it's just a misdemeanor, but it specifies all of the things that could be a misdemeanor, could be a felony, but still, to me, it's a bit onerous that that's a requirement for the grant. And of course, the low income, I don't have a problem with that. Any individual seeking support or services to aid in entering the cannabis industry in the city of Clear Lake whose household income is at or below the low income level based on the Department of Housing and Urban Development HUD income limits for Lake County. I don't have a problem with that particular one, but the first two I do.
Council, Vice Mayor Purdo?
Yeah, Councilman Kramer kind of addressed my next question, but my concern was we've had people, and I remember when I was first elected, this was a real big topic, that were in violation of our local ordinances, violation of our state laws, and this seems to be kind of a slap in the face for those who work so hard to keep our city safe. Now we're encouraging people that have already worked out or been outside the law to now open up their own businesses. I can understand wanting to help people lift themselves out of poverty and help them to start their own businesses. But I have the same or similar sentiments as Councilman Kramer. And I'll leave it at that if anyone else has questions.
I just had a clarification question. So those aren't the only three or potential requirements, right? It continues on to the second page? So someone could be a resident, could be a veteran?
Correct.
Okay. So the question here is, do we want those two top sections to be one of the potential criteria? I think the way it was phrased that by Councilmember Kramer is that it's only those three criteria, and that doesn't appear to be the case.
So there are,
Yes,
There-
I get the red, yeah, I didn't mention those, five?
there are a total of 8.
Yeah, and certainly a veteran status, I want to help a veteran, so that one's certainly not a problem to me. Residency consideration, seeking support aid in entering in the city or has resided in the city for at least 2 years, I don't have a problem with that. Ownership consideration, any individual seeking support or services to aid in entering the cannabis industry in the city of Clearlake who owns at least 51% of the cannabis-related business. This qualification will be considered only if at least one other eligibility criteria is met. I've got to think about that one. The veterans status, of course, I want to support our veterans. And the size of the operation, any individual seeking support or services to aid in entering the cannabis industry in the city of Clearlake that has small-scale cultivation by Clearlake standards based on analysis of current application data. This qualification will be considered only if at least one other eligibility criteria is met. Again, I think I need a little more information on that. And then last, any individual seeking support or services to aid in entering the cannabis industry in the city of Clearlake with experience of backyard cultivation abatement on property for which they were a legal resident for under 50 plants in 2015 and to the 17. Again, that one's kind of, that one kind of is a negative to me. So that's reading through all of them, and that's, you know, my thoughts on the rest of them, as you say. But
Okay.
certainly the big two are the ones I initially mentioned.
Councilwoman Overton.
Well, I'm just wondering is, I mean, we obviously approved this in September to do this. Is this wording what has to be in this, in order to get this program going? Is this the wording that has to be in there? I mean, like, I know there's specific things we obviously are gonna have to have in this. Is there stuff we can remove, or is this how the wording has to be in order to do this program?
I don't have a clear answer for you. This is the first time we've gotten any questions around the council about this program since, you know, we've been working on it for some time. So, you know, if there's a majority of the council that has concerns about some of these things, we'll just probably have to come back with additional questions. I do know that Erin McCarrick is on Zoom, who is pretty familiar with it. She may be able to address some of the questions, but unfortunately, you know, at this juncture, we aren't prepared to, or at least I'm not. I don't know if Deputy Clerk can answer that question.
Is this has to be approved today in order to get the grant?
Well, it doesn't have to be approved today. There is a round of funding that requires an application by the end of the year for the next step. So, you know, but if the council doesn't want to move forward with the program or whatever, we can go back to the drawing board. We just wouldn't be eligible for applying for that funding.
All right, I don't know any more questions. Anybody, any questions from the council here? If not, I want to open to the public. We have any comments here? Go ahead, ma'am, come forward and state your name, please.
Thank you.
You come here to the, yes, please state your name.
My name is Margaret Garcia. I recently moved to Clearlake. I bought a house here. I've been coming, and my family's been coming here for decades. So it's like a second home. I've been here for so long, all my life. What you have been saying, and I do apologize, I'm new to attending city council meetings, but I'm very interested in finding out what's going on in the city I live. And what you are saying makes total sense. Now, from what I'm understanding is this is a grant that would be given to applicants to open cannabis businesses? Is that kind of the gist of it?
I believe so, yeah.
And so a prerequisite of this, receiving this grant is that you have had to have been outside the law regarding cannabis? Is that correct?
It's also getting employment
Getting employment?
also.
Oh, opening the business?
Not necessarily so. The way I read it is also to have employment, too. That's the way I read it.
Meaning that they would be employed at this cannabis business?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Is that correct,
So,
Mr. Flora?
I think it's getting pretty muddled at this point.
Is there one prerequisite or two, or you said there was 8? How many have to be met? Just 2 to qualify for this grant?
Just one. Some can be stacked.
Just one prerequisite has to be met to qualify for the grant?
Those who meet one or more of the below eligibility
One or more.
criteria.
So I could just say, hey, I got arrested, or I was convicted of whatever it is. I would qualify to open a cannabis business here in Clearlake
So-
because I've been convicted of a crime?
So, no.
Okay.
There is a process where someone gets a business license or permit. This is just to apply for a grant.
A grant to get money to help them do this?
Correct, to cover some of the fees.
I see, I understand. I'm totally on board with your way of thinking about this. It sounds backwards. Let me just say, just my opinion, that people who want to open a cannabis business here, wherever, whatever county, they don't need funding. I mean, you know, they're pretty much well-funded to do this. And I think that a prerequisite to qualify for a grant to do this, being convicted of a crime, is totally inviting the wrong type of business owners, operators, into our town.
Okay.
And I think that Joyce Overton, the fact that she wants to reword this to make it sound better?
That's not what I said.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was your?
I asked if this is the type of wording we have to have.
Or what would you
So-
prefer? What would be a better wording?
I don't know, sometimes there's legal things in order, it's coming from
To
the
be
state.
kinda less
So I don't
honest?
know, that's what the question was.
I don't know, it seems like you're wanting to be less upfront, to kind of like, be less upfront about
How less upfront that is.
what's going on. You want to reword stuff. So anyway, again, I'm a new resident. I've been here all my life. I've known Clearlake since I was a little tiny thing, my family. And now I live here. And so I would like to see good things brought in here to the city. We have 3 cannabis clubs already, which for this area.
I'm sorry, she's hit the 3 minutes.
Oh, I
Thank
probably
you.
did that like 5 minutes ago.
Thank
But
you.
anyway, I
Thank you for your
appreciate your
opinion.
time and you allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, any other in the room here that wants to comment on this item? If not, anybody on Zoom wants to comment on this item, ma'am?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have Aaron McCarrick.
Okay, go ahead, Mrs. McCarron.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, yes, we can.
Erin McCarrick, City of Clearlake. So yeah, just some clarification and background on the equity grant program in general. It was established by the state of California to reduce the barriers to entry to the cannabis market. I am a cannabis business holder in the city of Clearlake. I had the great fortune of having some funding behind me, not a ton, we're building it up slowly, but I was able to have that. And this enables people who don't necessarily have that funding be able to open up their business. And maybe they were in the medical market, which was legal under Prop 215, but didn't have the capital to get their own business together. So, and this isn't, it's just one of those. So there's a woman who wants to cultivate, she wants to grow, or she wants to have an edible business. She's a veteran, she's female, she's, you know, at the low income threshold, and would benefit from a program like this, where, okay, you partner with a business, you find a way to bring your ideas to market, and you are able to pay for your licensing, maybe get some business acumen. Maybe there's an attorney in town in Clearlake who can help them understand contracts. So that's the idea behind it. Mendocino has a program, Humboldt has a program, Trinity, Nevada County, Sacramento, Oakland, San Francisco. Each one is different. Each one may, Mendocino, being a female business owner, qualifies you for an equity grant, and theirs is focused on restoring the environment. Lake County has one. Their focus is on helping to get through the application process, and their qualifications are similar to Clear Lake's, the proposed Clear Lakes. But the idea is just to enable people who wouldn't have had a chance otherwise. And the program administrator can certainly put an emphasis on residency, on veteran status, on this. It's just kind of a blanket catch, as was mentioned before, for people who, I could go buy an ounce down at the dispensary right now and I would not get arrested. But 5 years ago, you would have been arrested. So this enables somebody who, you know, maybe was wrong place, wrong time, give them a fresh start. And if they haven't done anything else, of course, you know, we don't want to support the illicit trade. We're actually trying to get people out of the illicit trade. So hopefully that helps.
Okay, Councilman Claffey has a question for you.
Ms. McKirk, just a quick question. So it says here, the applicants have already received their license, but applicants are not yet in the permitting process. Can you just clarify what that license that they've already acquired is?
That's one way that they could do it. So somebody could have acquired a license, but, so like for the Lake County, so there's a lot of options in there that, of the way this grant can help. It can help somebody who doesn't have a license. It can help somebody who has a license but has reached some sort of blockade that they can't get their business open. In Lake County, for example, they may have their state license, but they don't have their county license because they just instituted the need for a hydrology report, and that applicant hadn't budgeted $5,000. That's where Lake County is focused. So the report is vague on purpose because it enables the city to say, we're going to focus on people who don't have licenses, or maybe there's people who have licenses but have hit a blockade in hiring people. So we're going to put money towards employment outreach. If I'm on the same page, you can also direct me to the page you're talking about, but I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was page 2 here, but that sounds like you've answered my question. Thank you.
Very good. Any other on public comment on Zoom?
I'm just curious, who is this person that we were here?
So that's somebody on Zoom that is making public comment, ma'am.
Oh, okay, just public.
Okay. No
Aaron,
other people on public comment? We'll
I have
take
a
it back.
question for Aaron also.
Okay,
if I
Councilman
may.
Kramer has a question too for Aaron.
Aaron, you said the state license. What's the state license requirements as far as being convicted of crimes?
There's no requirement. Like, this is just, it's like a catch to make sure that nobody gets left behind. So there's no requirements. Anybody,
No, but
I guess you're not penalized if you had a previous cannabis-related offense, but not violent. If you rob somebody of cannabis, you certainly can't apply for a license. But if you again just were growing plants in your backyard, not egregiously, you know, but if you're just wrong place, wrong time when it was, you know, illegal, then
all right.
you're enabled to have a fresh start.
Thank you, Aaron.
But there's no requirement.
Okay. If we have no other public comment, anybody else in the public here that wants to speak to this matter? You can turn your lights on if you want.
Kind of blinking.
Come on, that's one some blinkies.
You're leading this way?
So my questions were, how much are the grants? Is it a certain amount? Is it 5,000, 100,000? What?
I'm sure it depends on how much we get from the
It's for us
state.
to decide. We're just trying to get the money, so then we can figure out, do we want to do 5,000 for application fees? Do we want to do 10,000 per, there's no set criteria yet.
Okay. So my comment also would be, we have lots of these industries already coming into the community. And I think it would be my position and my opinion to be careful with providing extra funding and extra everything when we already have some are not following the rules, so to speak. How many more do we want to just help out to get started? So I just think we should lead with caution on this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Mr. Sabatier.
Bruno Sabatier, City of Clearlake. I just haven't heard the term being brought on, but I know that this is California's attempt at righting what it feels are the wrongs of the war on drugs. There was definitely from their perspective, a specific demographic that was more hit hard by the war on drugs, especially cannabis, and this is their attempt. Now, I will say that from the county perspective, there has been no grants given away. The process is absolutely convoluted, difficult to find because the threshold to even get started without the grant or with the grant is so high. So just want to make sure that even if you do obtain the grants, it's difficult to figure out how it is that you can get people to access the grants. At this moment in time, that seems to be the experience from the county. But I wanted to make sure that you had the historical reasons as to why this equity program is there. And again, it's an attempt to, from the perspective of the state, right the wrongs of the past.
Thank you. If no other comment, public comment either on Zoom, ma'am, you have 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me. I take it that the grant money, to obtain it, you kind of had to agree just to get this grant money in the city of Clear Lake's possession, and now you want to hang on to it. My thought would be, wouldn't it be great to get a grant that would put a bowling alley like that used to be right here years ago, would be a great thing to do for the kids of this city. Put some money towards getting some entertainment, some things for the kids.
Ma'am, let's get to the subject of this
Yeah,
discussion.
no, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Great.
Is instead of inviting people who have broken the law, maybe put some money towards getting some things that the kids can do. A bowling alley would be a great thing to entertain and get folks off.
We're not talking about bowling alleys.
Right. We're talking about the grant.
You want to make sure that you are opposed to this, and we recognize that.
Yeah, I'm not totally opposed to it, but I'm totally opposed to a few very, very
Thank you.
big things.
Thank you. All right. If we have no more comments, we'll bring it back to the council.
So there are definitely some clarifications on what this money can be used for. So I think that one of the things that I'm reading is is the transparency on where the money's going and who it's going to. That seems to be a failure with the state of California. There's been some, some problems with this money being watched over and the transparency of it. So I think if we do this, we'd want to make sure that happens. Unfortunately, there are things here that, that has to be in this contract if we do this. And it is really for people who have been, either families that their family members were arrested because they had a joint on them and they spent 10 years in jail, as they would qualify for something like this too. So, this money seems to be to help people become legal in the sense that if we're going to allow it, we want them to be legal. If we, to me, is like, I really want to watch how the money and make sure that we are very transparent about what we do with the money if we get it. So that's, but I see that at the state level, there's been some problems with keeping track of this money, so, and how it's being utilized. So I don't want to fall into that category. But I think we do, I think the way the wording is in there, it seems to me like it pretty much has to be that. That, I'm not the attorney, but just from what I can read, so.
Okay. Very good. Anybody else in the council has some additional comments? Councilman Kramer?
Not additional, just want to reiterate, those first two eligibility criteria are extremely onerous to me. And I could not support it with those two things in there.
I think we would need some clarity on the wording in my mind if we take that out, because from what I can see, what I've read and stuff, I think that is what the program is all about. So I think we're going to have some
Are you referring to the
clarity.
deliverables within the grant, that those would need to be included, couldn't be excluded?
Right, I think that's part of it. Incarcerated family members that have been incarcerated, either they can or their kids can, apply for this grant because they were basically incarcerated for now no reason. Would they have been incarcerated at this point in time?
But-
That's just
but it
why,
doesn't-
that's what I'm just saying, I'm reading and I'm getting that. I'm not the attorney here. So I think maybe this should be postponed and maybe we could get some clarity on that, if this wording is exactly what has to be in there. And for us, because it seems to me like the ones I've read, Mendocino, Oakland, all of them have this wording, so, or close to the similar of it, so. And from what I could read at the state, it seems like it is the way it has to be. That's what the program's for, so. I'd like, I guess, some research and more clarification before we move forward with it.
It looks like this item has to be considered at a future meeting and
Tabled.
we'll table it at this
Well,
point.
it's your decision. I'm waiting for direction from a majority of the council.
Unless somebody wants to make a motion.
No, I concur. I think we need more information on this. And to Council Member Overton's point, if that wording could be removed, I think it may be more palatable.
Okay, so this item is tabled until further discussion.
So is there other questions? Because I have to admit, this is a big surprise that there's all these questions about it at this point. So it would be helpful to know, it's fine if you have more questions, you want to talk about it later. I just want to be prepared to be able to address the questions that you may have. So if it's just these two issues,
the incarceration.
that's fine. We can find out if that has to be in the plan.
Do these 8 eligibility criteria, can we delete or change the wording in it? In any of them? That's the question.
That's the question.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, I forget where we were now.
Public comment.
Public comment. Oh, I'm supposed to talk about that. All right, public comment. This is the time for any member of the public to address the city council on any matter not on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. The Brown Act, with limited exceptions, does not allow the council or staff to discuss issues brought before under public comment. The council cannot take action on non-agenda items. Concerns may be referred to staff or placed on the next available agenda. Please note that comments from the public will also be taken on each agenda item. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Do we have any public comment here? Mr. Supervisor.
Hello again. I know from being in your position, you don't get kudos often enough. It's getting towards the end of the year, and I just wanted to thank you for all your hard work, obviously the staff as well. New parks, renewed concerts, events coming back, beautiful work on our roads. I just want to take the moment to appreciate the work that has been done from the policy-making perspective all the way down to the staff getting the work done and accomplished. The city of Clear Lake is progressing, and I want to thank everybody for that.
We appreciate that. Thank you. Do we have any public comment on Zoom, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, we do not.
All right, we'll Move on to item number 24, which is actually the recommended action is continued development agreement, public hearing to January 6th, 2022, to allow staff adequate time to process the appeal application. Mr. City Manager Flora, would you comment on this?
Well, you stole my thunder now, but,
Sorry.
yeah, so we noticed this development agreement after the planning commission approved the use permit, and then at the end of the deadline, but within the deadline, an appeal on the project was filed, and so it wouldn't be appropriate to really consider the development agreement until the appeal comes back before the council. So we expect, hopefully, the first meeting in January for that appeal to be before the council, and then it would be appropriate to consider the development agreement after the outcome of that.
Awesome. Thank you.
We're basically tabling this till further.
Yeah, we do need specific action to continue the public hearing to January 6th, if that's something the council supports.
Mr. Mayor?
Excuse me, is there any public comment on this? If not, bring it back to the council. Go ahead, Councilman
Yes,
Kramer.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to continue the development agreement public hearing to January 6, 2022, to allow staff adequate time to process the appeal application.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion by Councilman Kramer, second by Councilman Claffey. Any more discussion? If not, everybody say aye.
Aye.
There we go. All right, now we have some real good things to report. Discussion on possible action regarding approval of an agreement between the City of Clearlake and Woodland Community College for the Clearlake Promise Program. Mr. City Manager.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, we talked about this several months back. I don't want to really steal the mayor's thunder on this, because it's really his energy behind bringing this forward and working with Woodland Community College. So, but we were able to work together and establish an agreement that is similar to the one that the council heard about and recommending moving forward with. And so unless there's specific questions on the agreement, I would just turn it back to the council. I do know that Dr. Cortez and I believe Mr. Pimentel is on Zoom, so they may want to make a few comments about this program.
First, do we have any questions from the council here? If not, yeah, Councilman Claffey.
Yeah, I have one question. One of the things that we talked about last time was the 12-month after graduation criteria. I'm just wondering if that was talked about, and it looks like you've kept it in there. I just wanted to hear the reasons.
Maybe we can invite Dr. Cortez to the podium and. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Slutin and members of the council. Cirilo Cortez, Dean of the Lake County campus for Woodland Community College. To address your question, the 12-month is intended to as a period where we want students who are graduating from high school within the city to take advantage of the opportunity of a higher education. It's intended to degree progress in the community and the county. And we figure that the 12-month period will allow us to work with a youth graduating and have a greater opportunity to embed them with higher education, the opportunity around the corner with the Lake County campus, and for them to start their educational endeavors here locally.
And do you believe that with the money allocated, you'll be able to max that out, essentially distribute all the allocated funds to folks who are just graduating high school?
Absolutely.
Okay, great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Other questions?
Any more questions from Dr. Cirillo? If not, maybe Arturo Pimentel can,
We do have our president.
President of Woodland College, can comment on this item. We would like to hear what you have to say.
Yes, good evening, Mayor Slutin, honorable mayor, members of the council and staff. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I could just tell you that I appreciate all of the city's work on helping to develop this model for the Clearlake Promise program. And we know that these types of programs are very, very effective in supporting the continuance of education and provides access to higher education. And the question that was just asked about the 12-month period, one of the things that we look at is that we believe that the sooner that a high school graduate participates in a Promise program like this one, the likelier they are to succeed, the higher the likelihood they are to succeed if they don't take such a large time or rest between their high school and their higher educational goal, whatever that may be. And so that's why we want to limit it to 12 months so that they could take either six months off after they're graduating from high school or a year, and they still have the opportunity to participate in the program. If the city wants to change that or modify that, we certainly could do that or make some adjustments. But for the most part, I think it's important that we try to encourage any high school graduates that want to take part of this program to start right after they graduate from high school, to maximize the opportunity that they get with the program, and then of course the likelihood that they are to complete and transfer or finish their career vocational education program, whichever one they choose. But I just we are elated to be able to partner. Mayor Sloon, I just want to give you a big shout out and credit to you and the entire council for leading the effort and this partnership. You asked a year ago, 2 years ago, what you could do to help support education and the youth in this community and help support and develop the workforce and increase access to education. And I'm happy to be able to partner and know that the city is absolutely committed to this community and to the youth and providing the most opportunities that we possibly can. And those opportunities lie with educational opportunities, and that's exactly what this is going to do. So thank you very much for the opportunity and certainly to partner.
Thank you. Any additional comments on Zoom, Madam Clerk?
No, Mr. Mayor, we don't have any hands raised.
Okay, I received a letter from Becky Salato, the Conocta Unified School District Superintendent. Good evening, and I'll read it. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. I was not available this evening to attend the council meeting in person, and I very much appreciate the opportunity to have this note read at the meeting. On behalf of the Conocta School District, I want to thank the council for your consideration and hopefully your approval of the Clearlake Promise program with Woodland Community College. As you know, education is the key to a positive future for our youth in our community. The Promise program is a great way for the city to support your youth and community. Our students will be our community leaders of the future. With your support of this program, the Clearlake future will continue to be a bright one. It takes a village to raise our children, and I'm very appreciative and proud of the city's support for Woodland Community College and all our Conocta students. Thank you for your promise to our student, Becky Salato, Conocta Superintendent. Very good. Let's bring it back to the council. Thank you. Any more questions from Dr. Silo? Go ahead.
I have a question. Well, maybe not so much. But one, the criteria is, it says here, fee for eligible Clearlake students. Most of our students qualify for a lot of those grant programs. So what are you looking at that this is going to have to cover? So, I mean, a lot of them go to school for free already. So what are we looking at? Is there an income eligibility that maybe it's not so much the very low income as some of these people that don't fall under that criteria? Are they going to be eligible also? So they're like not quite able to get those grants, but they really don't have the money to go to college and support their families. So how is that going to work?
Yeah. So the program itself is a two-part program. One of them is a fee-free component, and that is within the first year. Students who are not able to cover their fees within the FAFSA they are eligible to apply for this program. And it's supplemental in nature, so it will cover anything that does not get covered through these other financial aid assistance programs, including the student representation fee, health fee, parking. In addition, the second year will be a scholarship program that they will be eligible to qualify for. And the scholarship program will allow them to get funds for transportation, for example, and then also incentives to pay for their textbooks to support that.
It's all the auxiliary fees that are covered.
Supplemental.
Okay.
And if I could interrupt real quick, for a student taking 15 units, it equals $742.
And then in this agreement, I hate to tell you guys this, but something needs to change because we really don't have a high school in the city of Clear Lake. So you have City of Clear Lake and has a graduation from the high school.
Yes, we do.
Is the high school in? I thought it was more lower.
Knockdown Ed Center is within Clear Lake.
It is in within Clear. Okay, I thought it was like just right out the side of the thing. Okay. All right, well then that sounds good. Great,
All right,
thank you.
any more comments from the public? If not, we'll bring back to the council. Councilman Kramer.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Cortez, Dr. Emmental. That was a great explanation. I appreciated that. I appreciate Mayor Slotin's work on this over the last couple of years. I think it's a great program. I think it's something that the city of Clear Lake needs to, this is the type of thing that we need to support. And I am totally in support of it. So thank you again for coming here tonight.
Absolutely.
Councilman Overton, you have any additional comments? I see
Nope,
you.
he answered, oh, sorry.
Good.
Nope, he answered it all. Thank you very much.
Councilman Claffey, any comments?
No, I just think this is great, and I appreciate all the work that you put into putting this together for us. I wanted it to be a little bit bigger, but we'll see how this goes first. and
Absolutely.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
A little at a time, right?
All right, then we'll close the public hearing on that, and we'll bring it back to the council. Can I entertain a
Mr.
motion?
Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve the agreement and authorize the mayor to sign it.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by Councilman Kramer and a second by, it's a toss.
Yeah.
We'll use ladies go first, by Councilman Overton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you very much. Now we have to really start promoting this.
Absolutely. The work begins.
At the thing, one thing, just a side comment on it, I was today at the culinary program, and
Sure.
they have a waiting list now to get in, which is awesome.
Yep. Absolutely. Well,
Okay.
thank you. Appreciate the partnership and look forward to working with all of you.
I'm
Very
assuming we'll get
Have
a
a good evening.
report next year about this time, right?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you very much. We'll go to item number 26, update and discussion on the cash fire. City Manager Flora, please. That's your
Yeah,
item.
just, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, just a brief update. Director Young isn't here tonight, but, oh wait, let me look at the dashboard really quick. So, there's no debris cleanup happening currently. It looks like about 94% of the debris cleanup is complete. There's a few ROEs that we're still working through some things on, and then, so they're gonna be coming back and completing the rest of it, sometime soon. But Cal OES recently approved cleanup of some additional properties. So the normal program requirements are that they clean up debris that was burned, if it has a structure on it. They did make some exceptions for sort of the junkyard property there. There's a lot of separate parcels that didn't have structures, but there's a few areas of camping and whatnot further up into the brush up the hill over the years. And anyway, there's I think about a dozen other properties that have still some trash and other things on them that they've kind of stretched the guidelines for us and are going to come and help clean up. So appreciative of that. And we did receive a visit from representatives from Cal OES and FEMA a few weeks ago. They still haven't made a final determination on whether there'll be a federal declaration or this fire will be included in the federal declaration. It sounds like that there's still some hope that that may happen, and it's not going to be really a big impact on mitigating the city's expenses. Some of the impacts that we have still won't be eligible for FEMA funding. But it could be a real benefit to those who have property that were damaged. There's a lot more resources that will be available to them. So we saw our fingers crossed that that will happen. And then the final thing, you should have seen some information about this, but this disaster was approved for SBA funding, access to the residents. And so the folks that have been impacted have all been contacted directly by SBA. We shared our contact list, and so hopefully many of those residents are eligible for, will be able to take advantage of that funding source as well. So at that point, I think that's the report.
Okay, any questions from the council? If not, I'm going to open it to the public. Any comments from the public, either here or on Zoom, Madam Clerk?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we'll move on to the next item. Appointment of the 2022 mayor and vice mayor by motion. I just understand Councilwoman Overton has some.
I just want to make the comment that you've done a wonderful job as our mayor. I've been very appreciative of your hard work, especially what we just approved now. We haven't had very many mayors that have went out to the schools, so I'm really happy. So I personally think Vice Mayor's done just a great job too. So I think that it would be nice if we just went another year with you guys in place. So.
Motion of that?
Just my comment right
now. Okay.
Well, my part, I think that the two of you have also done a good job. I'm kind of looking at it from another direction now. I think our mayor, vice mayor has always been a rotation of a year. And except for the exceptions of, obviously in my case, because I came in to fill out somebody else's term that had stepped down. But I think that the one-year rotation is necessary in order to get all of our council members. I realize 4 of us have been mayor. Councilman Claffey has not yet, but if we go 2 years each, there will be. I don't think he may not get the opportunity until his last year. My preference would be to keep it at 1 year, and I would like to actually to see Vice Mayor Burdock move up to mayor and Councilman Claffey move up to vice mayor.
Councilman Overton?
I'd like to comment on that. I know there's many times throughout my time. In fact, we have one sitting here now that was mayor twice in a row, 2 years in a row. It happens all the time. I feel that when we're in critical, and this is no offense to any experience of all of us, but with what we're going through, I feel that our mayor is the most experienced in the engineering part of where our city stands. I feel like he's already been involved in a lot of that, and I personally don't want to change that. And many times we do 2 years. So it's happened several times in my, in fact, 3 times I know of in my time that I can remember offhand that they've remained the same, especially when they're in critical and they have the experience. And I just feel that Dirk has the engineering experience that we need right now.
I would not
Councilman Claffey?
Yeah, I just think we're incredibly fortunate right now. We have 4 former mayors on this council, all of which have done a great job while serving in the role. I look at the challenges we have in 2022. We just made a significant investment in land over at the airport. And as you said, Mayor Slutin is someone that I am exceptionally confident in being in those meetings with commercial developers. I think our second biggest problem or challenge is around the mental and physical health of our community, and I think Vice Mayor Purdock has been a wonderful advocate for the Hope Center, leading the Blue Zones initiative. I personally like the continuity and of having both coming back in the same position if they are interested, and I would absolutely recommend both of you for another term. I think you've done a fantastic job.
Just one final comment. I'm certainly not castigating you, Mayor Slotin, or you, Vice Mayor Purdock, on your specialties. What I've learned this year is there is life after being mayor, and you can still do all of those things that you're doing as mayor.
I think both Mr. Purdock and Councilman Overton and you can just, so anyway, anybody wants to make a motion on this?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Councilmember Slutin as mayor and Councilmember Purdock as vice mayor.
We have a motion by Councilman Claffey and a second by Councilwoman Overton.
Mr. Mayor, we didn't accept any public comment on this item, so we
Okay,
should probably do
I
that.
will open it to the public, sorry.
I'm just curious, are we voting for the mayor here, the mayor for 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just a question.
We have anybody in the audience that wants to comment on that? If not, anybody in the Zoom? Oh, we have a comment. Shocked, yeah.
So
Otherwise, I move quicker.
I think that the position, Bruno Sabatier, City of Clearlake, I think that the position of mayor is simply that, it's a position, and the skill sets for being a mayor is, in my opinion, you're the head figure of the city, and you're the management of how the meetings are held. I think it's an amazing thing to see the switching of the mayor's seat. And it's not because somebody should not be the mayor anymore. I think it's because it's nice to have 5 different people were chosen by the people of Clearlake, and to have one of those 5 moving forward into the position of leading and having the opportunity, I think is great. I remember Vice Mayor Purdock being the mayor. I still remember it because it was an excellent time for the city of Clearlake. You did an excellent job as the mayor, such as you have done an excellent job as mayor, Mr. Slutin. I also would like to see Mr. Claffey move forward into a vice mayor seat so that he has the opportunity to be mayor in the following year, which, again, needs to be decided on by the council. I think that there's always something happening that we can say is why we don't want to change. There's always supposed to be something happening, and there's always been something happening. And I've never understood that statement, because then we would never change. And I think change is good. I think that it keeps us moving forward, just like the changes that you're doing to the city. And so I think that it's good to see that change. I think it's good. So just want to make that statement.
All right, any comments from the public on Zoom, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, we do have one hand raised.
Okay. Go ahead.
Cheryl Alman here speaking, City of Clearlake, 40th Street. It has been my pleasure for 4 of you to have served as mayor, and I am saddened by each of your end of term. But I do agree that I think the rotation continues to offer transformation and support of all of you to continue to do the quality job that has been done for many years now. Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, we'll bring it back here again.
We actually have one more hand raised.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. McCarrick.
Okay, it didn't prompt the unmuting. I think it's helpful, especially for new residents, to have consistency. Aaron McCarrick, City of Clear Lake. It might be confusing to figure out who's the mayor and that the mayor changes every year. So I think consistency can be very helpful, especially for new residents.
Okay, thank you. Any additional comments on Zoom? If not, Councilwoman Overton has a comment.
Yes, my last comment. I have to disagree with you, Mr. Sabatier. So our mayor sometimes, especially at transitional times that we are right now, where we're dealing with a lot of developers and a lot of things changing in her, I think it's nice that we have somebody above my skills, and I think most of our skills, that has a really negotiation And he's been in a lot of these meetings already with these, meeting with our administrators and different things. And he has a lot of knowledge that I hope I hear a lot from this forwarding year. So I think it's very important for us right now. Maybe sometimes it's not as important, but I think it's very important for us now to have a person that really does have the knowledge of development in this position. And, and I'm not saying that, definitely, I believe that our Councilmember Clafferty will definitely make a good vice mayor and mayor, and, I have no qualms with the mayors that we've had in the past either. But I think right now, who we have in the place, I really do believe they should stay there.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor still. Are we ready to vote? All right, maybe we need a roll call vote on this.
You don't need one, but you're welcome
Okay.
to do one.
All right. Everybody say aye to the motion on the floor.
Would you repeat the motion on the floor, please?
The motion was to appoint Councilmember Slutin as mayor and Councilmember Purdock as vice mayor for 2022.
And it was seconded by Councilwoman Overton. So, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. I'm humbled, but I hope to do my best to, like I said, there's numerous projects in the works that have the possibility of transforming this city. So I'll do my utmost best to have those projects come to a successful conclusion in 2022. All right, we'll go to city manager report and council member reports.
I don't really have much to report, but just a reminder that the Clearlake Christmas Parade, sometime between, I think, 5 and 5:30 on Saturday, that'll be starting. The light poles, the last piece for the Promenade project over here, there's some more light poles on the Lakeshore Drive side that we've been waiting on for some time. Those should be in, I think, next week or so. And then the Starbucks did open the sign. The pole is there, but that larger sign, construction on that will be starting next week. And then once that's done, there's going to be a stealth cell tower included in that sign. And so that will be installed. And then there's a city branded sign that will cover the top of that, at the very top of that 75-foot sign. So it'll be fun to see that come together. And then I'm sure you've seen the progress on some of our Measure V projects happening. Most of the paving on a lot of that's done. There's still a little bit of work on Mullen to do. And then the crews will be moving up to Acacia and begin work on that. And of course, the Salt Fire project, they're still working on underground and drainage work, but making some progress there. And I think that's all I have to report.
Good.
That sign, do we have that? The city sign's gonna go on top of the, and do we have that designed yet, or do you care to just comment on that?
Yeah, it's being fabricated currently, so yeah.
All right, councilman report. Councilman Kramer.
I've gone to, yesterday to APC LTA meeting along with Vice Mayor Slotin, Vice Mayor Purdock and Mayor Slotin. You were also sitting in on it. They discussed the 53 corridor study, I guess, is nearing completion, after I also had a conversation with City Manager Flora on that subject. There's still, I don't know, there's a lot of things in it that I think I would like to see a little more change on, but that's just me. Also had a Lake Links meeting I attended. I attended the Clean Water Program meeting as alternate when Councilwoman Overton could not make it. And tomorrow night, Lower Lake also has a light parade and event lasting from 4 to 8 o'clock in Lower Lake. That's about all I have to report.
All right. Councilman Claffey.
Other than congratulations, Mayor Slotin.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Purdock.
Thank you.
All right, we're going on to Councilman Claffey.
Nothing to report, just excited for the parade and the holiday event at Austin Park tomorrow night. Getting all my decorations ready.
All right, Councilwoman Overton.
Well, I have a couple of things. We did the Thanksgiving dinner down at the community center, and we served, this is just the numbers I know, we probably served a little more than that, 167 meals, which was really awesome to see. We stayed pretty full the whole time, and I really appreciate all the volunteers that helped out, mainly my family. So really thank them for being there for me. They've been great. And the Christmas parade is going to have a nice carriage in it that has been sponsored by me and the Cannabis Association. Between the two of us, we pay for that so that the people can have free rides on it. And, so we didn't have to charge anybody. We wanted to have that. So thank them for, making sure that happened. I don't know if anybody noticed the Meals on Wheels thrift store. It's got new paint.
Yeah, repainted.
And it's getting there. So hope everybody's happy. Trying to make it that spot look good. We tried to kind of match where the mural kind of stands out a little bit. So hopefully I'm going to talk to them and see if they might be able to do something on the back side there to kind of blend it all in, make it a larger picture there. So, and I just want to congratulate both of you. You guys have done a fabulous job, and thank you for taking on the position for the next year.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor Purdock.
Thank you, Mayor. My goodness, where to start? Yes, it's been wonderful watching the Measure V projects rolling along and now finally getting some asphalt down on the roadways. Great to hear from the positive comments from the residents, but even throughout the city. So thank you, Public Works Director. Appreciate your hard work and all the city staff. The Clearlake Chamber had a board meeting. I would like to encourage, we still have open elections for additional board members. So if you're a business owner or you are a member of the Clearlake Chamber, please make your votes known on who you'd like to see on the board. Very excited to participate in the Lower Lake Light Parade tomorrow night, and as well as the Clear Lake Parade coming up on Saturday. Very good things. Also wanted to simply share with the community, Blue Zones has finally hired, not finally hired, they're hired and now trained and on board the Blue Zones executive team. So you'll be seeing more and more from Blue Zones. They participated in a wonderful event, the Thankful for Health event at Woodland Community College, Lake County campus, which I'd like to thank Dr. Cortez. Your staff was fantastic. Very much appreciated that. Very good event, had a really good participation. Hope we can do another one soon. And with that, Mr. Mayor, it's your ball.
Oh, we have Councilman Overton have a do-over.
I have a do-over. Yeah, I just wanted to, also, on Saturday, it's not just a Christmas parade, but there is actually a festival. We're finally getting that festival, I've been bugging for 20 years, from 11 to 6. So there's going to be arts and crafts and all kinds of things going on for the kids, face painting and stuff like that. So it's a whole day of fun, So I really encourage our city to come out and really support this festival and show the council that you really do want this festival like this every year, so.
One last thing, Mayor. She got a do-over.
Anybody is allowed to have do-over.
I am really impressed. We're just now the 2nd of December at the lights. People are putting up the lights. Thank you, Councilman Claffey, for your effort in that, to light up Clear Lake and to really show the season and the spirit of the season. I'm loving it. I think it's one of the best we've seen in a while.
I agree, now that you've mentioned that. Thank you. The Clear Lake Great Holiday Light Fight is what Councilmember Purdock is referring to. Residential Christmas lighting contest. You can send pictures of your home on downtownclearlake.com. I think the deadline is December 15th. So thank you.
I have another 3,000 lights to put up, but there are about 2,000 already up. So I'm going for this. I don't really have any. I have a generator on standby. I also attended the APC meeting, and it's sometimes, obviously I haven't been there long enough to attend those meetings, but the Highway 29 corridor planning, it still boggles my mind why it is where it is and what section is being constructed, but those are decisions by higher authorities, I guess. But anyway, it's good to hear that they're finally started working on Highway 53, and some of the things that they've showed so far, I have questions on too, but at least they're starting to pay attention to it. And they're starting to pay attention that we'll have a significant development in the future up there. So they finally start listening to it. And when I heard that they were thinking about an overpass, pedestrian overpass, that's been on my radar for some time. The casualties on 53 at the intersections, I think we've had now 5 in the last 4 years, if I remember right. I mean, that's a big concern. Anyway, that's my report. We'll go to future agenda items.
You want to talk about LAFCO? I like that.
Oh, sorry, LAFCO, that's right. We continued on the LAFCO MSR on the water districts. That's an item that we'll be discussing in the future. There's starting to be some sentiment to deal with the water districts and have, maybe the city get a bigger involvement with the water districts. It's the fire flow requirements that are currently required are not being met by none of the water districts. So it's a big safety concern, and it also inhibits development. If I hear that tanks need to be put on, anyway, it's more to hear about that. And we did talk about the South Lakeport annexation somewhat, and that's moving forward. Am I forgetting something? I forget. Okay, all right. That's it. Future agenda items. Anybody has any future agenda items? If not, meeting is adjourned.